Good morning, everybody. Uh, this is a dual rant. First of all, I want to give a little rant about a guy called SYNERGY7 that I just had that I've not debated, but back and forth a couple of times on his comments on his videos. He always starts out with some red herring, like calling Obama Muslim or says he has no balls, and then he has no facts. Never thought to cloud the issue with facts. He's one of the what I call a sophistry. It's just to argue, not from facts, just for the sake of argument. And he doesn't never has a good argument. And he's one of the most ignorant fools out there. But he has hundreds and hundreds of viewers. So I sent a few comments this morning, and a few of his defenders I commented to, and then lo and behold, of course, I've been blocked. Well, to me, that's a sign that that everything you did throw up was a red herring. That the man has no intellect, and it's a shame because he has a bunch of people that think he does, and he throws out these grandiose statements, and the statements are made simply to to muddy the water so that what follows people people uh, don't really look into and check. So he'll say that lousy Muslim, or Obama has no balls, or he's like acts like a woman, or some standard bullshit, and then he'll go on and quote something as if it's a fact, and then say, well, I really don't know anything about it. Well, the truth is he really doesn't know anything about anything, and all I was trying to do is to edify him on some specifics that he was so wrong on and so ignorant about. But instead of I offered to debate him, uh, made him several offers, and his answer is to block me because it might erode his base. But believe me, lemmings do not leave the crowd. They just hang in there. Now, so much for this fool. Uh, but he claims, well, he talks about sovereignty. Doesn't know his ass from hole in the ground. He knows nothing about the geology of it. He knows nothing about its use, its annual use. He knows nothing about silver except it goes up and down, and he thinks that he can throw some facts out there, um, or on the assumption that just because he says that they're facts and can give you some direction of where silver's gone. It's a tough market, silver, and even though usage has gone down, silver, the little upturn it took seems to be holding in there. Now I have no idea where it's going. That's why I buy almost on every dip. But you people know when I buy, and you know I never sell. So you don't follow me for silver because you know about the only thing I'm going to do is show you some silver I got. Now, the other thing that annoys me is in these debates, no one's asking the right questions. They talk about education, but yet no one has asked them, do you believe in evolution? Remember when there were 9 Republicans running for president and they had their debate and they were asked, is there anybody here that believes in evolution? And Ron Paul put his hand up for a minute, and when he saw nobody else's hand was up, he took his down too. now, now, these are supposed to be intelligent people. And here's a guy that's a graduate of Harvard, and the graduate of Harvard, and he didn't graduate from the divinity school, is going to tell you that he doesn't believe in evolution. Now, he's one of two things. He's one ignorant son of a bitch that doesn't believe in science, or he's outright lying to you. And I'm sure he's lying to you. I mean, he's no fool. He's got to understand that evolution is a fact. Now, they say, oh, because it's not a fact, it's a theory. Well, so is gravity. There's a law of gravity, but it's only because there's a high degree of probability that you drop something, it's going to fall, you know. But there isn't 100% certitude. So they fail to realize that in science you deal with degrees of probability. The only place there is no probability is when you're dealing in in things that are deductive, and that's logic and mathematics. Now it's very nice that we have conformed our mathematics to demonstrate the, the laws of gravity and the laws of physical science. But for someone to deny that evolution is a fact is absolutely absurd, and that if we're going to turn our education department over to somebody like that, he sure is going to appoint somebody else that doesn't believe in evolution, because he's pandering to his base and he wants to get reelected in 4 years too. So even though we might want, if Romney got elected, we might want the liberal Romney, we can't have him because he can't get reelected on a liberal basis. So we're stuck with Obama for 4 more years, and that is, and stuck is the proper term. But they should be asking, and there's so much more information on Bain Capital. There's a giant article in in this past week's in this past week's Newsweek about Bain Capital, and I've told you about Bain Capital, and I've quoted how they wouldn't sign any debt agreements unless it included that even before debt gets repaid, that the officers and the CEO get their bonus pay. Now, how, when you're running a company into the ground, how in the world do you deserve a bonus? We have an example of this uh, just 10 miles south of here. In Millville, there's an airport, and for years and years, there was a I forget the name of the company that refurbished jet engines, and my cousin worked there, and he worked there for 25 years. And what happened was the company was bought out by a company similar to Bain. They came in. The first thing they did is they robbed the pension fund. First of all, first they got a tax break from the city of Millville. Then they came in, robbed the pension fund. Now my cousin and everybody else that worked there had a government guarantee on their pension. But you know what they get? They get 35 cents on the dollar. So if you were planning on living on, say, $2,000 a month, and you find out you've worked all this time and your pension is $600 a month instead, you're going to be outright aggravated. But this is what Bain does. They come in, they rob the pension fund, then they shut the plant down, and then they sold all the machinery, and then they moved back to their headquarters in Texas. They left hundreds of people unemployed. They left owing a tax bill to the city of Millville. And this is the type of stuff that Bain makes a fortune out of. They'll go in, buy a weak company, borrow as much money as they can on that company, and take the borrowed money to buy other companies up and do the same thing to them, pay themselves giant bonuses, default on their loan, and then you're stuck. Like this bank, one of the deals with Bain Capital was stuck, and the government had to come in and pay the bank because of the insurance deals. Had to pay the bank 10 million bucks. Meanwhile, Bain has taken a huge chunk of that and paid themselves bonuses. So it's ridiculous. Why the hell Obama? They must have access to all the articles I do, and these are articles from genuine people that have the ability to collect this information. Time doesn't put out a lengthy article like that without the facts behind them. Nor does The Economist, nor does The Week, nor did Rolling Stone. So why isn't Bain the central theme of this whole economic deal? And add to that, as I said, you have the question of evolution. How can you back science, research, and development if you don't believe in research and development? If you don't believe in science, how in the world are you going to help the system out? You say we have to have more engineers, we have to have more scientists. Well, how can you have more engineers and more scientists when you got the entire Bible Belt denying the fact that evolution took place? It is absolutely absurd. And why they ask the same questions that we've been given the same answers to is ridiculous. You have to get a little smarter in your interviews, the people that are moderating, and the questions have to get a little heavier. You have to ask, what is our real commitment to Israel? You know, how many secret agreements do we have with this nation, and how many could we live without? What is our commitment to a separate Palestinian state on the West Bank? You know, these are questions that go to the root of the real problem. What the hell are we doing in Syria? What's the CIA? Did the CIA, are they responsible for lobbing a few a few rockets into Turkey to get Turkey involved and to drag NATO and us into this mess? There's some heavy duty information out there that we should be inquiring about, you know. And what do we do with I told you about my encounter with my congressman. What do we do about the Koch brothers? Now, what do we do? You know, it took them 20 years to figure out that somebody finally leaked the information that that IPOs are offered to congressmen before anybody else. Before you could even get in, they could have made a killing and got out of an IPO before you even had the option of buying in. That's the kind of corruption, you know. And they had access to insider trading. They're the only people in the world. It was against the law for everybody else in the world. And then finally it was found out. And then finally they did something about it because there was such an abuse of power. Now all you have to do is ask your congressman, did you make any insider trading deals while you were in Congress? Has your wealth increased on a lousy salary they're giving you of less than 200 grand a year? If so, then we'd like to know why you felt, you know, just because you could, that you had to use insider trading, and that you had to buy IPOs when your money is supposed to be in a blind trust. How in the world, what advantage would it be if your money was in a blind trust for you to have access to insider information and for you to have access to IPOs? So even though you might claim it was in a blind trust, it's impossible because the blind trust wouldn't have access to that information. Only you would. So there was no such thing as a blind trust when these congressmen claim it. There's such corruption, and there's so many other things. But I'm telling you, uh, if you want to hear the facts, then read The Economist, read The Week, read Newsweek, Time, Science Newsletter. That's where you find out what the next big technology is. You're not going to find out by listening to these bubbleheads. So you might, if anybody would, go to SYYENERGY7 and ask them, why are you blocking Rocky? What the hell is your problem? If you're so smart and you have all the facts on your side, then why are you afraid of this one little guy that just puts up a comment every now and then? If he's got something to say, then your people should hear it, and if he has nothing to say, your people will know it. So I want to thank you for this time, and I want to tell Mr. SYNERGY7 that the easiest way to to show people that you know nothing is to refuse to listen to anybody else.